for tonight. We're going to be starting in a couple of minutes. I want to give a couple of people opportunity for all to join. So in a few seconds, we'll get started in about 4 minutes, okay?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon, everyone. Devon here. We're going to be starting in a few minutes. Welcome you all. So get yourself situated. We're going to have a great time tonight. Looking forward to working with all of you for the next couple of 2 hours. So gear up. Let's get ready. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Devon Edwards. I'm from Keller Williams Preferred Property here in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. So I wanted to say good afternoon to everyone. I know that we have a whole team from Upper Marlboro here. Today we're going to be going over the Ignite, Keep Every Lead, and Follow Up. So I'm super excited. We got a couple more people joining. So once we get everyone in, we're going to get started. I'm super excited about where we're going and what's going on. And thank you all for joining me tonight. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great,
Yep.
great,
Very well.
great. So let me just give a couple of ground rules. Hello. If you're not, if you could.
Yes, I can hear.
I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying yes. It was a delay in my phone, so sorry about that.
Okay, good deal. So I've been part of Ignite as a student, as well as I've been on a couple of nights over the last couple of weeks. Really quick, somebody come off mute and tell me what they think so far.
It's good to refresh the basics.
Great deal. Okay, so kind of give you some ground rules and a little bit about my background. I am a prior Air Force. I'm an Air Force veteran. I served over 10 years in the United States Air Force as a police officer. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've owned a security company for some years. I currently own a janitorial company. I am with Keller Williams Preferred Property. I am a capper, and I am looking forward to always pouring into others, not only just my clients, but anyone that I come encounter with. I think it's one of our requirements as a human being to do just that. So I'm super excited to be here tonight. Like I said before, I am also in pursuit of being KWU trainer. So this is one of the requirements as well to start teaching. So I jumped on it. Been an Air Force instructor for many years. I was a firearms instructor as well. So I actually can pretty much shoot a gun. So let's go through a couple of the TCPAs. As you all know, we have to always make sure that we are following the rules of TCPA. Mr. Gary Keller has already paid a substantial cost for that. So make sure that we stay with federal, state, and local laws, including for BTB. That means calls and text messages. Make sure we stay compliant. That is a very big thing. I know our Market Center talks about it all the time. So please just make sure that we follow those guidelines as well. All our material is they're not guaranteed, meaning that they are copyrighted. But at the end of the day, we want to make sure that the instructors do not hold any financial licenses to do anything with this information. Of course, we want to make sure it's under the TCPA. We want to make sure we do the fair housing, spam. We also want to make sure the AI disclaimers. We want to make sure that we follow all those disclaimers. I'm still kind of talking in code a little bit, folks, because I'm still allowing a lot of people in. So just bear with me until we get to the meat of the potatoes here. And copyright material. This is copyrighted under Keller Williams Realty Incorporated. So please make sure that you don't take this information and just think you can use it for yourself. That's also for the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, as well as we're going to be discussing some of the shift information from that book as well. So today is the day of the lead follow-up, and our third segment of Ignite. We have covered becoming the real estate expert of choice by building your value proposition. We also covered generating leads through prospecting and marketing. Today, our focus now is going to switch or shift a little bit to lead follow-up. What do you do once you get the leads? Where you can make or break your business. Follow-up does make, and it can make and will break your business. It does not matter if you get a bunch of leads and you never call and follow with any individuals. So today, generating a lead can take almost no time at all. It can take up to 10 years. So we want to make sure that as we're talking about today, we're going to talk about what is required to do follow-up with our lead generating. This next segment of Ignite will help you turn a possible business to a probable business, from a probable business to a profitable business. We're going to also talk about the daily success system after each lesson today as well. Just doing a couple more folks to let them in. Okay. Okay, so the lead follow-up process is essential in converting leads to business. From the moment you have captured a lead to put it in your database. Before we begin, let's hear about progress from the success system. So, could somebody come off mute and tell me some of the success story? We've been at Ignite now for for a period of time now. Let's talk about some success stories. Who would like to share? Now, I can see everybody's name. It's 143 people. I will call on somebody. Somebody could please share some of their experience and some success stories from the last couple of days.
I'll go. I'm in my car, but I'll turn my camera on. I was able to connect with my market center because I am a dual agent. So I haven't been able to really, hold on. Okay, I haven't been able to really get in, and really connect. But I did connect with someone. I'm hosting an open house for her this weekend. And that's always a good source to get leads. So I'm excited about that.
Absolutely, that is great. One of the things in my market center, everybody look, I do a lot of open houses. I've probably done about 75 to 100 in the last year and a half. Open houses are very fun, exciting. It's a perfect opportunity, like you said, to get up and close and personal with people and actually look them eye to eyeball. I think is one of the best lead gens that I use in my own business. Someone else who would like to share?
Can you guys hear me at all?
We can hear you.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, my MacBook likes to be funny, but I have a small win. We started Ignite last week and there was a text exercise and I sent out like 30 to 50 texts and I do have a lead and she is already like speaking with a lender. So hopefully I'll have bigger news soon.
That's great news. That is remarkable. When they're speaking to a lender, just make sure you're staying engaged. When you are, some of the things that you're going to hear on Ignite, and I'll be the first to raise my hand and say, the first time I took Ignite, I didn't have buy-in, and that buy-in probably cost me money, and that's the easiest way to say it. It probably cost me money. What I would tell you is do the work, do the exercises, the text method. We're going to do that tonight as well, but make sure you do the work, and that's great. So make sure you're staying engaged, and it leads exactly into what we're talking about tonight, and that's follow-up. So huge congratulations to the both of you. Open houses are always necessary and important, and that's going to always make you money, believe it or not. And two, another thing is making sure you follow the lender, have a relationship, making sure you're on the phone with that lender as well as that and your new client. One more. Someone else would like to share. Okay, we only got two people.
I got
I'll try. Oh,
Okay.
I don't know. I have trouble starting a conversation with people on getting real estate in the talk, but I was at a function at church and the lady sitting across from me started talking to me and I said, I said, what do you do for a living? And she told me, and she said, how about you? And I said, well, I'm a realtor. And then we started talking about, I'm thinking, I got my question now that I can, when I meet people at a function, just ask them what they do for a living. And that gets you into telling you what you can do. And I put an advertisement in the church flyer, and believe it or not, the person answered it, and I'm now getting them under contract to purchase a house.
Wow, that is remarkable. These are huge, huge, huge wins. Literally, these are great. I'm telling you, folks, do the work, do the it will work for you. It will work. Okay, so let's keep going. 1 second. My MacBook is you just said MacBook, and all of a sudden my MacBook is acting up. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. The MacBook just did something crazy. Just bear with me 1 second, please. I'm sorry. Technology works great until it doesn't work at all.
Yeah, sorry about jinxing you.
You did. I'm not gonna tell. You did. Okay, so we should be good here. Okay, so tonight what we're gonna cover is what is lead follow-up, how to lead follow-up, post lead follow-up, and recap. We're gonna do some recap and ahas and our daily success session. The goal lead follow-up is to follow with the lead with the goal of entering a two-way conversation. And when I say two-way conversation, it's important that when we say two-way conversation, is not that you just give a flyer out to someone, or in your case, man, when you said you followed up with someone, that is a two-way conversation. When you're talking and actually have a communications with someone, that's what we're talking about when we say two-way conversations. Every person in your database, whether or lead or contact, requires follow-up, so that when they have a real estate need, they immediately think of you. We're going to harp in on that, and we're going to talk about social media, etc. And we're not going to talk about IT tonight, but we're going to talk about social media, because making sure people know who you are is important. Still letting people. Okay, consider this. There are people that you've put in your database, only in your real estate database. Are these only real estate agent they know? Are you the only real estate agent that they know? And let's think about that for a second. We know that, there's a lot of agents out there right now. And when the people that you encounter and they are in your database right now, are you the only person in their data? Is that person the only person in your database? They're probably not. They're probably in about 7 to 8. We live in Prince George's County. In Prince George's County, oh my God, there's thousands of agents. So I'm sure there's people that door knock. There's people that do these things. So guess what? They answer the door, they get their information. So you're always competing with all the agents. But the key here is to make sure that you stay on the top of their mind. So it's always important. You're not the only person that they know. You're not the only agent they know, but you need to become the most relevant agent. And the person, when they think of real estate, they think of you. Okay, so let's keep. I'm sorry, my computer just act up on me. I'm trying to recover here. Okay, so let's look at this slide. Review the graphic and what it means to follow up. Everyone in your database lives on at some point along these waves. At the top of the wave, when they purchase a house, the day after they buy a house, they move down the wave and continue until they begin to think about buying again. That normally is from about 7 to 10 years. So over someone's lifetime, they have the potential to buy 1, 2, or 3 times. The distance between the house purchase is only an average of about 1 to 10 years, 7 to 10 years. Now, think about it. If I called you and gave you a lead, and I gave you the lead and the person just bought their house, what kind of lead would that be to you? How would you feel about that lead? Anybody?
A cold lead.
A cold lead. I take that. What else?
I would feel like it's a cold lead because they just bought a property, so more than likely they're not looking to do any real estate business right this second. So you have to cultivate that lead for quite some time.
Okay. So would you in turn not communicate with that person?
Oh, no, you'd still communicate with them because they might know someone who is looking to sell or buy. So you definitely want to nurture it.
Absolutely. As a real estate agent, follow with all leads, frequency and intensity as the key to remaining close emotional proximity. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that tonight as well. I saw a hand up. Elmaraz, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I don't see it as a cold lead because if that's a client that bought a house from me or I sold list their property, I stay in touch at least 4 times a year. And these are just regular text messages. Like uh, I notice maybe I'm already too old, but I like to call people, but people don't answer anymore. So I just chose to send them a text message: Happy 4th of July, Happy Mother's Day, Happy Birthday, and I don't text them at Christmas. I text them at Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, and let's plan for next year. What's in your mind? What's in your mind right now that you want to share with me for next year?
Absolutely. And that's a very good point. You know, when we talk about the 19 communications here today, this evening, it's going to be important that, you know, I don't believe there's no such thing as a cold lead. I don't. If I'm communicating with you, um, I said a few minutes ago that it could take literally up to 10 years for a person may move again. However, that doesn't mean everyone around them it's going to take the people around them to move in 10 years. If they have a 15-year-old in 10 years, that 15-year-old turns 25. They may get married. They may get any of those things. And if you're on the top of their mind, they're going to call, there's a strong possibility they're going to communicate with you. And now that person that ideally on the top of the hill is a negative, will consider may be considered a cold lead. That lead now has turned fruit. So always make sure that you understand that there's no such thing as not a proper lead. Communicate with everyone that's in your database. And when I mean that, we'll talk about this a little bit later with smart plans and chat GPT. There's always ways to follow up. Always. Any other questions or any other statements? Okay. Computer is really backed up. You really jinxed me. So let's look at this possible business, probable business, profitable business. Think of the leads that enter your database through lead generating as your possible business. Lead follow-up helps turn that leads from possible business into probable business, with the goal being profitable business. 2021 National Association of Realtors profile of home buyers and sellers details the opportunity that leads follow-up can provide to your business. They collected research that shows that when selecting an agent to use, 73 of the buyers only talk to one agent, and 82 of the sellers only contacted one agent. Since that data shows that most buyers and sellers only talk to one agent before deciding to do business with them, what will you do to ensure that you are the one agent for everyone in your database? Think about that for a second. One person, every buyer spoke, 73%, all buyers spoke to one agent and they went with them. 82% of sellers. You want to be the person that they stay on the top of their mind and go from there. If you are first or second in their mind, you probably won't get the business, the millionaire real estate agent. Somebody come off mute and tell me what you think about that statement.
I think it's very true.
Okay. So I'm sorry.
I think that's a lot of communicating.
It's a lot of communicating, and I think sometimes people feel it's overbearing, but we communicate. We are people are communicators. So if you're not the first person or the second person on the person's mind, you probably won't get the business. That means if you send a flyer, walk the neighborhood in January, or let's say summer, July, you walk the neighborhood in July and you make this remarkable flyer and you put it in your market center and you looked at that flyer and you was like, oh my God, this flyer is so wonderful. This is great. You never made contact with the person ever again. You didn't even make contact with them the first time. You just put the flyer in their door, hope that they got it. And you never ever speak to them, never follow up, never do anything, never farm, never do anything else. There's a good possibility that And then there's another agent that goes knock on doors every quarter. They're sending out they're sending out postcards, they're doing something. That person stays on their mind. And when a person stays on your mind and they're on Instagram, they're on these different outlets, they're more likely to get the business. And a true story, I have a Air Force. I do some social media on Instagram, and we'll talk about the smart plans. I do bi-weekly smart plans for almost everyone in my database. He shared with me another agent had took him out to see some houses, but he did not sign any contract. They didn't sign a contract. Just so happened my email came in that morning, and he told his wife, he said, "Hey, I cannot go out with that agent again. We cannot sign a contract with that agent because Devon is an agent." And Devon, it just so happened, Devon just sent me an email. Now, as you all know, smart plans, you set it and forget it. And because he called me, he said, "Devon, I get your emails every couple of days, but I never really paid it any attention. I see them, but I don't pay any attention. I never look at them." He said, "But this particular day, I saw your email, and guess what? I got a buyer out of that." So follow up, stay on people's mind, and one way to do that is smart plans, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later. Thank you so much for your input. So any other ahas? Any more thoughts?
So I was thinking, how do you go about it? You know, you have to get in front of people. You have to get you have to get in front of people so that they would acknowledge you, so that they would know you. How would you actually get that moment where they know, hey, I'm going to call you. That's the one I want to call.
Okay.
How would you get that, other than just knocking on the doors, putting the flyers in the door? How will you get that person to become acquainted with your face, with my face?
Great question. I'm going to redirect that question. Someone else in the chat, please come online and just and answer that question for us.
I would think it's consistency. I did door knocking in a neighborhood, and I jotted down on a piece of paper their addresses, and I went home and I made postcards. And every quarter or I think once a month, whatever it was, I sent a postcard. And I got a lady calling me. She says, "I threw your one postcard out, but I looked for it and another one came and I sold her house."
Perfect. Okay.
So consistency pays off.
Consistency pays off. Another way is not always getting in front of the person. You know, social media is another one, but consistency and repetition. You have to stay consistent. You cannot give out a postcard in June and never do anything else. You have to do follow up. The coaches in our market center talks about it a lot on Command Your Day. We talk about it in Push. You have to stay consistent, and some of it is kind of hurtful. If you are a person and you're a lead gen that you call people for sale by owners or doing those things, there's a good chance you're going to get, there's a great chance, actually, not a good, but a great chance the phone is going to get hung up in your ear. You have to stay consistent. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And whatever lead gen that you're doing, you have to stay with that. Great point. Miss Pauline, you had your hand up?
Yes. What I was gonna say, the aha moment that I was listening was, I guess when it comes to more contacts and people that we know, or when we go to event, I feel like it's more so of like reaching out. I guess it's the same as what she said, consistency, reaching out often and not just reaching out because, hey, I just got my real estate license. Because apart from I do interior designing and I start off with, it's basically like real estate. I had to knock doors. I had to tell people, hey, I do this so that people can sign up, or reach out to me and be like, hey, I want my home decorated for Christmas. Can you do it? So I feel like it's more so of, hey, how are you doing? Is everything, I'm just checking up on you to see how you're doing. Then they can tell you what is going on in your life. Then you will know, okay, they know someone who wants to sell a house, or they'll be like, well, I met this person today who want to sell their house, so that they feel like you care about them, and you want to know, you want to learn about them, you want to be friends with them. And I guess I feel like that's how it bring constant referrals to us, not just, hey, what's up, I'm gonna knock door, I'm just gonna leave this there. It's like you're gonna pass by, or you see the person in front of their house, hi, I'm just passing by, I'm just checking out how you're doing. Oh, I saw your real estate card came through. Is here I am, just checking up on you and see how you're doing. You don't have to, buy a house right now, because I feel like the more people see your card in, they think that, oh, when they see you, they're like, oh, here this person comes again. They're gonna talk about their real estate company, But you have to show that, okay, I really want to build a relationship with you. So then that, I feel like that's how they're gonna keep remembering you. You're gonna be the first thing on their mind. Because if someone bring up, oh, I want to rent a house or I want to buy a home, it's like, oh, I just talked to Maggie today. I just talked to Susan today. I just talked to, Janet today. Oh, I have a friend, even though you were probably not close to that person because you reach out and talk to them all the time.
Absolutely. Miss, you're absolutely correct. One thing I will tell anyone, I work out. When I work out, I have my branding shirts on. I have a realtor's hat on when I work out. Why? And I have my QR code on all my gym workout gear. Because when you're in the gym, you don't, even if they're not talking to you, they can possibly follow you on Instagram and things like that. Those are always avenues that you can build. And someone put in the chat events. We're going to talk about that. That's a very great point. And I have a couple of stories about some of the events that you can get involved in to help people, for people to know and remember you. Miss Francis, you had your hand up. Miss France. Okay. And I'm going to mess this up, but say, Sorrel, you had your hand up as well?
Yes, a rule.
Saru, okay.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So one way I try to connect with people is provide them value outside of real estate. So if I know, my kids swim, so they are in a swim club. So if I know anything about swimming, I go in beyond to tell them about different clubs in the area, different coaching styles, different commitments, or I'm a data analyst. So I'm a dual career. I have my day job. So I try to
Absolutely.
provide value outside of real estate to them so they think I'm important and then they think that they can trust me, and then transition to real estate conversations whenever I feel comfortable or whenever they're open up.
Absolutely. And I thank you so much for that. One thing to always think about, come from a point of compassion, a point of giving. Yes, you do want to you do want people to understand that you're an agent, but let's be candid. Someone said a few minutes ago, I don't want them to just say every time they see me coming. It's kind of like at school when your kids were selling candy. Your friends would get irritated with you because your kids were always selling something. But if so, they would dodge you because they know little Timmy wants to buy. You need to buy cookies or candy or whatever from the school. When in real estate, you have to come in from a couple of different factors of things to consider. Always come from a point of giving and a point of you doing something and providing something to individuals. We're going to talk about it a little bit later, but there's things that we can provide as real estate agents that as real estate agents, we're giving information. We are a source and you should come from that place. If you're providing information to them, not just on real estate, but hey, you might be the person that when they need a plumber, they need somebody to look at their roof. You might know the mechanic that they may need. Always come from a place of being able to provide a comfort and a resource to someone. People are more prone to work with you. And more importantly, if they're not in the market themselves, they'll think about you. And when they're talking to people at lunch, they can, and their coworkers are looking for something, they will think of your name. So that's a great point for all the input provided. We're going to go to how to lead and follow up. Just like your intention to be strategic with your lead generating efforts, you should be strategic with your lead follow-up efforts. One of the things, be thoughtful about how you follow up and leverage the highest value touches that yield the greatest result will help you convert leads at a higher level. Now, one of the things in your let's go ahead, if you have your participant books and your participant book, you can turn to the fortune is in the follow-up mindshare page in your participant guide. And going back to something I think Miss Pauline said, mindshare is a gain through positioning yourself in front of your leads frequently with relevant and timely information. The goal is to open the door to two-way communication, in addition to getting them to think about you anytime they think about real estate. Through Ignite, you have been introduced to two different systems that engage your leads and contacts and help you gain mindshare. What are those two systems? 19 to connect and 36 to convert. So I see a hand up. Joe?
Yeah, hi. Sorry, this is a slightly off topic than what you're talking here, but I've so when you tell people you're a real estate agent and you're a new agent,
Okay.
how do you break that shackle of, people tend to want experienced agents. So how do you kind of say that you can do it too, but you don't have anything to back you up?
That's a great question. I'm gonna ask. I have an answer, but I want to send that to the group. Anyone on that's been in real estate for a few years would like to share?
Can I?
Yes, please.
If you're new, you can use the experience of your team or your office,
Mhm.
how long that office has been in business, what their ratios are, for selling price and all that stuff. You can use all that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
usually, and I used to say this all the time, I don't have any other listings, so you'll get all my attention.
Got it.
Anyone else? Thank you, Ms. Deborah.
Yeah, I want to piggyback on that because when I first started my business here in Virginia, I started with a team because I didn't know much about real estate in Virginia. We came from California, so everything was new to me. Basically, we started from scratch, and the only thing I said to my first clients is the best guarantee that you have with me is that I don't have too many clients, and you're gonna get all my attention if you were my only client. So even if I get two clients, you're gonna get all
Mhm.
my attention, and that's
Absolutely.
how I started.
Got it. Got it.
Absolutely. And one thing to consider, we are backed by a brokerage. Someone, Ms. Rose said that. I used this when I first started. I am with Keller Williams Preferred Property. We're the largest market center in Upper Marlboro in Prince George's County. 1 out of every 5 homes are sold in Prince George's. In 1 out of every 5 homes sold in Prince George's County, one of our agents are either on the buyer or the selling side.
Mm-hmm.
That means my experience is that we have sold over $500 million worth of real estate. I come with the backing of that type of back office support. That kind of takes away the fact that I don't know. I just got my license. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes. Yeah. No, very helpful. Thank you all.
Yes.
Thanks so
Yes.
much.
So leverage a couple of things for those Keller Williams agents. Always remember we are an international company. Our brand is our brand. We are not just a mom pop type of organization. We
Mm-hmm.
are very, very, very large. We have been in business a substantial amount of time, and you are standing on the shoulders of all the agents that have gone before you, and you have the experience. And in Keller Williams, our training program is amazing. And what that means is that you have the opportunity to have a coach. you have the opportunity to have those individuals to help you along the way. So that's important. So don't allow you being a new agent to stop you from talking. And we had this conversation a couple of days on Command Your Day. Do not talk because you do not know what to say. Have the conversation, get in with the person, talk to the person, and then go find help in your market center. How does that sound?
Love it. Thank you.
Okay. Do not have the conversation because you don't think you know what to say. Okay?
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Not a problem. I saw one other hand raise.
Is it me? Yeah. So one thing I do I am very new too. So whenever I'm talking to a client and if it goes south and I end up not signing with them, I ask them, now that they're not going to work with me, they will be more honest to tell me the feedback. So I ask them, like, where did I screw up? What made you not choose me? And I just want their honest opinion, and I can tell them that I'm new, so I'm learning. Your feedback will be very valuable. So even though you don't sign with them, you learn something from it. And that's also, again, it's not a loss, I guess.
Yes. And it's not a loss, it's a learn. And I agree with you, but sometimes we want to make sure that when you're talking to those clients and they don't work with you, it's always great to find out. It's kind of like if you didn't win the prize, find out what happened. And if they share with you, but also it goes back to in your initial communications with individuals, knowing exactly what to say. You do not have to show that you're an experienced agent. You just have to do a lot of conversations and practice with individuals, and you will be much better off when you practice. I can't say it enough. Our market center has something called Command Your Day, and that is a very powerful from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And that's I'm not doing a plug. I hope my coach can't hear me, but we do that, and that has helped me tremendously. So the next slide you see here is the fortune is in the follow-up mind share. One of the things, these are the recommended systems for touch campaigns you were first introduced to during the lead generation segment, which leads will follow. Specifically use 19 to connect. So let's go through this one really quick. One thing to think about: leads, 19 to connect. Someone said a little while ago, 4 touches quarterly phone calls. Have you all heard of DTD2? Anyone?
Do the database too.
Do the database too. That is a perfect way to always make sure you're making those 4 phone calls in a year. 12 touches, monthly emails, newsletters, market reports, videos. Then we have 2 touches, promotional direct mail, such as magnet, calendar, printed market report, etc. And 1 touch, annual event, party, movie, screen, and get-togethers. Now, let's talk about the 4 touches quarterly phone call. When we said the DTD2, that's the tongue twister, that gives you an opportunity to put in your schedule to do the text and the phone call. Everybody's familiar with that or have heard of that, correct? Anyone has never heard of it? Good deal. So that gives you an opportunity that every week it tells you to contact a particular people in your particular group of people based on last name or however you have it set up in your database to contact individuals. That gives you 4 opportunities to contact them. The 12 touches, monthly email. We all have talked about the smart plans. That's a perfect opportunity to make sure that set it and forget it. It's the simplest way to think about it. Set it and forget it. You can actually set this up that you can actually send them based upon their neighborhood, their county, their city, or mostly their neighborhood or their town, and they can get a breakout from you every month on schedule, and you will never have to touch it. You just set it in your smart plans and go from there. Newsletters. We live in an era now of AI. You've had technology classes already with Ignite, and I'm sure you're going to have more. We have AI now. You do not have to be a genius to write a newsletter. Would everyone say yes? Yes. You do not have to be a genius anymore to be able to write a newsletter. You can write a newsletter with AI on a particular neighborhood or particular area that you want. Can everybody still see me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I just want to make sure because I had something pop up here. So you can definitely. I'm having a lot of technical difficulty. Okay, so you can always make sure you're communicating with market reports and videos. One of the agents in our market center had this remarkable idea, and I'm gonna share it with you. Hopefully, she's probably not on this call, so I can tell you. Instead of sending these monthly birthday emails and text messages, imagine taking your phone, make a quick 3-second or 7-second video for the month of, let's say for the month of November. Happy birthday. You don't have to be specific with a person's name. Happy birthday. I really wish everything works out for you. Have a remarkable month. Happy birthday. God is giving you this, blah, 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 blah. And have it set up that guess what? Everyone in your database for that month get that same video. That's very unique than just sending the birthday text that if you get a bunch of them, like Mother's Day, Christmas, well, not Mother's Day, but Christmas and Thanksgiving, you get 1,000 text messages. Imagine sending that video to your group of your people in your database. Wouldn't that be very different than the other agents that have their contact information? Those are things that we have to do different. Promotional direct mail. That's again, you can pay for those services or you can have those services set up, and a magnet. I was in Jeff Glover's class and he said something I thought was very unique. People still do magnets for refrigerators. Everybody say yes, yes, shake your head, yes, yes, you do. People still do them. You probably have a magnet on your refrigerator right now from 1998. So these people still do magnets. If you are going to do that, you should consider getting ready to do, if you're going to do a magnet for 2026, you should go ahead and start doing them right now. So that way your sphere, your group of folks, people in your database are going to get them in November, early December. Why is that important? Well, because they're going to get your magnet first. That means it goes on a refrigerator first. If you do it and you wait to December the 15th to do this, they're not going to get your magnet to January. Guess what? Someone on this line has already beat you to it, and your magnet doesn't make it on the fridge. So make sure you think about things of that nature. Printed market reports. You have access to RPR, Bright MLS for us in Maryland. You have all the MLS. You have access to those things. Use those printed market reports, and you can use those to give out to individuals. The One Touch annual event. We do a shred event every year. We do a shred event. That's a perfect way to your sphere of influence. And believe it or not, especially if you have an older group of people in your database, they love it. Why? Because they always have stuff to shred. Movie screens, parties, all the events that your market center has, utilize that to your best advantage and use that as an opportunity to do a touch. Our team leader says it all the time. Use that as an opportunity. Is there any questions or any ahas at this point? I see Monica say she's waiting for hers to mine to come now.
Yeah, I don't have business cards.
Okay.
I only do magnets.
You only use magnets.
I only do magnets.
That's very cool.
So if somebody says, "Hey, can I get a card?" Yes, there's a magnet and there's my pen right here. And this is I thought about using the best quality pens because even if they don't call me, they're gonna keep the pen for a long time.
Absolutely.
So I truly believe that this is a better chance for them to call me in case they forget my name, rather than giving them a cheap pen, because these ones they throw it away very easy, but this one not so easy. So I invest a lot of money on my pens.
Mr. Alvarez, someone asked, what do you have on your magnet?
My magnet has all the my Keller Williams information. It's just like a business card. My
Okay.
name, my company name, Bridgeport Realty, my email, phone number, the address of the office, Keller Williams. I'm sponsored by proudly Keller Williams. And everywhere I go, I just drop them. If I'm gonna go show houses, I drop the magnets.
Absolutely.
Everywhere. I mean, I have magnets. My family passes magnets. And I'm putting everything with a little notepad
Mhm.
for Halloween. So all the neighbors when they come, because I'm new to this neighborhood. So in
Good.
2 weeks, when I get this 500 kids knocking on my door, I'm passing a special baggie with my magnet, my notepad, and my pencil, my pens for all the parents.
That's a great point. You said Halloween. That's a great point. Instead of just giving out candy, they have to come with those kids come with adults. Having
Yeah,
something to give out, that's a great idea. And
yeah,
it goes back to not just follow up, but lead gen, always giving out information and giving out and people knowing. I think the most hurtful thing, and I'm sure there's an agent, at least one agent, there's 155 people on the Zoom. I think there's everybody has that one story where they didn't tell their neighbor they were an agent. And a few days later, they see a sign and they got to ride by that sign their way to their house.
That's painful.
It's a painful feeling. It happened literally right beside me. It was devastating. So stay focused. So making sure we lead generate and follow up. One of the things too, like we said before, 4 phone calls, 12 touches that are monthly. The intent of these touches to be spread out over a calendar year, which equates to about 1 touch every 3 weeks. So every 3 weeks, think about that. Every 3 weeks, you should be trying to make contact directly or indirectly with your database. And some people, and when I first came to real estate, I thought that's almost harassment. That was my cop. I had my cop hat on. That's almost harassment. I don't want to talk to you. But what you realize, mindset, mind share. If you're staying on their mind, they might not look at your email. They might not look at your text. They might not look at your Instagram, but well, I'll take that back. They're watching you, but they're in. So you always want to make sure you're communicating with folks. The 4 phone calls have the greatest impact. Um, I'm a little older than 40. So the older you are, I have found out that people prefer to talk to you more than everything else. So when you're an older person, if your clients are in their older age, they prefer to talk. So those phone calls every year, don't miss them. And I know a lot of people say I don't want to do it. I am guilty of it as well. Don't do it. So when do you think your lead should be added to your 19 to connect to your touch campaign? When do you think that lead should be added to your lead should be added to your contact, connect to your campaign? Somebody says immediately.
immediately.
Immediately. I concur. You should get, when you have when you have your database and command, as much information as you can get on a person is so critical. What do I mean by that? What are some of the well? Let me ask you this: what are some of the craziest things you put in people data? When you put a person in your database, what are some of the craziest things so you can always remember their information? What are some of the crazier things that you've put in their database to remember who that person is? I'll give you an example. I put people football teams. When you're tagging them, I put their football teams. I put with a sorority, fraternities. I put all of those things because you want to be able to always remember that person. So immediately put them in your database. Immediately always know we need to follow up. And it's going to go back to cement conversations. We'll get to that in 1 second. Your speed to lead should be rapid. When I say lead, your speed to lead should be rapid. Just think when you put the lead in your database, you should be immediately following up with those people. one person said earlier about open houses. When do you send follow-up text messages or calls when you do an open house? Anyone?
The same day when you get
The
home from
very
the
same
open
day.
house?
The same
Yeah.
day. I do them before I leave the parking lot. Before I leave
Oh.
that house, I do a text message to those people. Yes, I do. And I'm going to tell you why. Follow up. And again, one, they know you're not going to forget them. You've showed their information, whether they took your information or not. Guess what? Now you got an opportunity to send them your contact information in their phone. So I always send them a text message immediately after phone call, after an open house. You should always engage, always engage, always find reasons to engage. Any questions about that? Any ahas? Okay. So let's talk about the next thing we're going to talk about is lead follow-up and best practices. Considerations for you lead follow-up program. As you get started in your real estate career, or some of you as we're already in our real estate career, I'm trying to add 10 people. Begin to generate leads during Ignite. There are some considerations you should make regarding your own lead follow-up plan. Okay, best practice page in your participation guide for some brainstorming. So let's look at this for a second. Lead follow-up best practices, considerations for your lead follow-up program. What are my strengths when working with people? How can I adapt the touches of 19 to connect to represent me? Think about that. What are some reasons I may have for contacting the lead? What are some touches to do before and after a phone call? How am I using the conversation? How am I using the conversation to let the person know I'm in real estate, how to contact me, and how to refer business to me? When is the best, oh Lord, I'm sorry. When is it best for me and my business to time block for lead follow-up? And how much time should take to reach out to a lead? Oh, it's this door. So let's go back. Let's break this down. What are some of your biggest strengths when working with people? So anyone, what is one of your biggest, when you feel in your heart, this is one of the best things that I can do when talking to people? She said, How many people just like to talk? Most agents do like to run their mouth. How many people just like to talk? How many people just like to talk? Nobody. Nobody likes to talk.
I love to talk. That's one of my strong points.
Okay.
I had a whole career of talking to people for 27 years. So I'm a talker. I'm not really a write down type of person.
Okay. So that's a huge strength for you. So that means in open houses could be a very huge thing for you because it gives you an opportunity to actually open up and talk to anyone. Open up and talk to people. Mr. Cole and John say, listen to them and let them talk. We're gonna talk about that. I like both of those statements. We're gonna discuss that in a second. Someone said they're friendly. Those are all strengths. One thing I learned as a police, we used to tell people, we were taught in the police academy, if you want to find out about somebody, let them talk for 20 minutes. If you want a person to talk to you, let them talk, give them a compliment and let them take off. And that is a very true thing. Let them talk. Don't be afraid to talk and be able to ask questions. I don't think we understand that part as much as we should as agents. Sometimes being able to have asking the right question, open-ended questions, exactly what to say. That's one of the biggest things that we do on Command Your Day, exactly what to say. Asking the right question, allowing them to engage the conversation and being able to talk. So that's one of the huge strengths. What are some of the reasons I might have for contacting the lead? So let me give you a tidbit. When I do open houses, I always promise them something. all my communications, I always try to promise them something. Why do you think I do that?
People
Have a
love
reason to follow up.
A perfect reason to follow up. A perfect reason to follow up, and it's a huge hook because at that point you can say, "Hey, as promised, I'm following." Not follow. We don't use the word follow up. As promised, I wanted to provide the information that we had discussed. That's always a reason to give it. Once you give a promise to someone, as we were taught as kids, you give a person a promise, you always want to make sure that you deliver the promise, correct? And how am I using conversations? How am I using conversations to let the people know I'm in real estate? How to contact me? How to refer business to me? That's a great. How do you let people know you are in real estate? We talked about this a few minutes ago.
You tell them.
You
You mention it in the conversation.
find a way to talk about it at the grocery store. It sounds crazy, but always find a reason to talk about real estate. Always, and you don't always have to come from a point of take, but always have a conversation and somehow allow it to lead to some forms of real estate. And when's the best time for me and my business to time block for lead follow up? So this could be a direct, multiple ways of looking at this. When is the best time? When on this call?
NBC.
I'm sorry. When is the best time you lead follow up? Anybody?
After dinner.
After dinner. And do you time block that, or do you just, hey, I know I got to do it, or whenever time is whatever time?
I usually try to time block it now with this class. I haven't been doing it every evening.
Oh, I'm sorry, you make me feel bad.
No, this I needed this too, though. Well, then I do some in the morning, but I don't get that many responses. I try switching it.
No problem. I see that you had to leave, Miss Christina. Thank you for coming. Yes, always try to find a certain time to time block. Be consistent with that time.
I would say at brunch because it's still early enough in the morning where things can be fresh on their mind, but not too late in the day where they're busy and can't talk.
Right. Okay. That's a very good time. But also, what I think is important to always take a recommendation is make sure when you're doing your follow up, just like your lead gen, make it consistent on your calendar. And I'm sure you've heard this 1,000 times already. Whatever's on your calendar is what's going to get done. Well, you're more prone to do it. I'm not going to say it's going to get done, but you're more prone to do it if it's on your calendar. If you have on your calendar every day at a certain time, and be real with yourself, be realistic with yourself. If I'm going to do follow up at this time, most of the top agents that I have spoke with, they have a set time that they lead gen. They have a set time they do follow up, and they don't deviate from that schedule. You should have the same mindset when it comes to follow up. You're going to set yourself that way. You know, you're going to do, I'm going to lead gen, I'm going to follow up at this time. And you always make sure you be honest with yourself and do it. Sorry. And how much time should you take to reach out to leads? How much time do you think it takes to do to follow up with leads? How much time do you allocate yourself to do follow-ups?
2 hours.
Okay. And why 2 hours?
That way I make sure that I touch everybody that I wanted to. And if I'm finished within that 2 hours, before that 2 hours is up, then I start my prospecting.
Okay, great deal. That's great. So always set your personal standard for speed to lead. What time frame do you expect yourself to communicate with the lead? Always set that time. Make that time your standard, because Dusty, I don't know if some of you have heard of him. He used to teach the bold class. And one thing he said I thought was so amazing. He was like, if you most people don't want to lead gen. A lot of people do not like making phone calls. They just don't like doing it. And we find what happens when you don't like doing something. You find reasons not to do it. And you
end up not doing it if you don't like to do it.
You don't like doing it, you find a reason not to do it. And he gave a simple illustration of how people will be set up to do a lead gen or do follow up, and they'll set everything up on their desk. They'll do everything. They'll set everything up. Then they'll go get coffee. That'll take 5 minutes. They set up an hour. They go get coffee. If they're in the office, they go to the copier. They make one copy of nothing, and they talk to somebody at their copy machine. That's 15 minutes. Then they come back. Then somebody walk past the office. They see that person, they wave them on in. That's another 10 to 15 minutes. What happens in that 1 hour now? They run out of time.
They got sidetracked and time has run out. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that hour that you had for follow-up now has become 15 minutes. Are you in that? How productive are you with that 15 minutes? Might not be nowhere near as productive as you should be. So find time, make sure you do it, make sure you do the job. It's that's one of the key elements I think in real estate. Do your job. Okay.
That's what they used to say to us in the police academy. You do it until the job is done. Like there's no set time. You have to just do it until it's done.
Absolutely. So let's talk about this activity. Design your annual 19 to connect touch plan. So let's look at the top one. Annual occurrences. Call, text, conversation. And you can look at it at the topics. It's the annual occurrences, activity, plan, and cost. Let's go through this. Now you have a chance to think about and design your own 19 to connect plan so you'll be able to implement it. Review the details of the slide. Now, the first two columns are the magic of the plan. Nothing should be eliminated. Keyword, nothing should be eliminated. Remind yourselves that there's a cost associated, can be associated. So we'll talk about that, how we can alleviate as much cost or have limited cost for some things that you don't have any cost. So on the annual occurrences, we talk about 4: calls, text, conversation. Connect with every lead quarterly. Offer something of value. Ask for referrals. Calls, text, conversations. Connect. How much do that cost anyone? Nothing. I see Miss Karen, you had your hand up. Miss Jackson?
Yes. Actually, I wanted to go back to the lead gen and follow up really quick.
Yes, ma'am.
I was going to ask, what is the best day, if any, to do lead generation and follow up? But then I was thinking to myself, wouldn't that depend on how many people you have in your database? Wouldn't that also depend on whether or not you are a dual agent? So I guess I kind of answer my own question. It would be subjective based on the individual, unless you have a certain day, certain time that you feel is best. That's devoted to both doing lead generation and follow up.
And that is subjective. I would say, ma'am, for me, I do open houses on Friday, Saturdays, and Sunday. Well, actually, I do open houses Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I have in my calendar that I'm going to do if I do open houses on Sunday or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm going to send those individuals a text message immediately after the open house. That Monday, I allocate X amount of time to follow with everyone that I followed up, everyone that I saw over the weekend. Now, again, I'm not dual agent. This is what I do. So that works for me. For you, you have to figure out what works for your schedule. And also it depends on a couple of things. And what I mean by that is that depending on when are you in your best spirit, because you don't want to call a person all dry and from a place of reluctancy, and you don't want to be bothered, and you don't want to do that. And then you have to be considerate of the TCPA, of times. So you have to consider all those things. But the short answer is you have to build that in your schedule. Take the time to do it. I heard one of the top agents in our office, she's dual agent. She said, on my lunch break, I would go to my car and call people and follow up. So you have to make it work for you. That kind of answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
The 12, email, newsletter, market report, video, one birthday card. Now, I'm cheap. So you can go to the Dollar Tree and get a birthday card, or you can have it with your logo on it, or you can do birthday cards. That's one avenue. The 4 market reports. Where can you get your market reports from? Anyway.
Right, MLS.
Right, MLS. You're already paying for that service, right?
Yeah.
So you can get your market reports from Bright MLS, RPR. You can get those reports. And those are the reports that you can send, and they're going to be colorful. They're going to have graphs. It's going to make it seem like you spent a substantial amount of time on it, and it's accurate information. So you're already paying for that service. 4 informative videos. Where can you get 4 informative videos from? Or emails. You can get those from the same source. Bright MLS, RPR. You can get this information relatively simple. One neighborhood newsletter. You can do Chat GPT and make up your newsletter. Have anyone tried that before? Anyone? Yeah, I ain't gonna say nothing to
Not yet.
So think about it. You can go to Chat GPT, or you can use RPR, and you can make almost a complete newsletter from the information that is accurate information. Again, those things that I've mentioned to you have very little cost. Promotional direct mail, local sports team schedule. I'm in the National Capital Region, so the Washington Commanders are everybody's dream team.
Not everybody's.
Yeah, good deal. I'm proud to say that because I'm a Steelers fan, but we don't want to cause no problems on this phone call. But I'm a Steelers fan, so you think about local sports team schedules. People would love to see the schedule because I just learned growing up in South Carolina with not a team. I learned that people here just love to see something with their team on it. They love to see something with their team on it. So that's one thing that you can put on there that you can possibly get relatively cheap. With an annual calendar. Those are things that you can send promotional items to them that you can always provide. And organize neighborhood park cleanup. Now I'm gonna go a little bit farther. My neighborhood they did a block party. Now that block party, what I did, I volunteered to work. I volunteered to contribute something to it. And I also asked, could I put a table there? And I put a table there with Keller Williams preferred property on it. I had bags, I had market reports of the neighborhood, and I had candy. And I had 2 gift cards for $25. People love everybody loves free. So what I did was I had that at that block party. I was able to reconnect with individuals in that block party that were homeowners that were my neighbors. I have one person that have signed a buyer's contract. I met with one attorney that I'm getting ready to do a workshop with that's going to generate new business. So you have to think of things in your neighborhood and be able to give it from a point of giving and versus something of value and not just receiving. And I had one question. Where do you find the Bright MLS? It's the MLS listing site, for example. North Carolina has Canopy. And that's a great point, Ms. Park. In Maryland, we have Bright MLS. I don't know exactly what it's called in North Carolina. It might be Canopy. Basically, that's our system that we can look at all the properties and everything that we use here in the DMV. And there was one other question I wanted to answer. Somebody had asked as well. Hold on one second. I want to make sure I didn't leave you out there. Yes, you have to reread the tidbits of Chat GPT by tripping. It does act out sometimes. I'm not going to use it. It does act out sometimes. You should always proofread what you get from Chat GPT, but at the end of the day, it does provide a lot of information. It does that. One question was, what are your top three tidbits that your customers love hear about regarding the market? What they want to, for me, what I do is, what my clients love to hear about is, no kidding, are they how is there any equity in their home? How are the houses in the neighborhood selling? Those are things that they want to know about in the event they're thinking about selling. You only value by based upon the information, valuable information. So I try to provide information to them that they're going to need. Okay. Okay. Focus on value. So when I say focus on value, see, when you have generated lead and captured their information, you can then talk to them. If you haven't heard back, you don't know much about the person, then your communication will be broader. Focus on a range of values. Always look at value when you're talking to individuals, as we stated before. Value propositions. What do you bring to the person other than just a transaction? Personal communication. Making sure that you have a communication with individuals that, one, no kidding, that they actually can look at you as an associate and look at you as more than just a agent that's going to do a transaction and you never hear from them again. So you want to come from a point of value proposition where you're giving them value. They know they can call on you and you're going to give them real information. This is where your communication with your own value proposition. This was day 4 of the Ignite class. You can even use this as personal company or personal statistics. One thing you can also think about, as you engage with your leads, you can uncover how to serve them better and learn what they're interested in. Talking to people, you learn from them. One thing I would tell you, when you doing your lead gen and follow-ups, always have notes. And in command, you're able to you're able to take notes. Take those notes. How many kids they have? Do they like dogs? Do they like cats? Do they like snakes? Have that information, so when you're talking to these individuals and building a rapport with them, you can always start from a point where you remembered. People enjoy that. They love the fact that you actually remembered them and you remember what you talked about before. So, lead follow-up communication, potential lead sources. So in your participation guide, you will see this chart. Once you know the source of the lead, you can narrow your range of value. Knowing the source of the lead helps you inform on how you compare value with your communication. For example, a lead generated through a client referral will be communicated differently from a lead that came in from a phone call. So you're going to complete we're going to do a quick, we're not going to do that. I'm going to keep pushing. So let's look at the potential lead sources. Call in, community event, open houses, social media marketing, traditional marketing, your agent website, call outs, past clients, purchase leads, client referral, sign, call in, blogs, or newsletter. Now, consider lead sources that you already have in your database. If you aren't sure where to start with the referrals, open houses, or social media, since those are activities that you have learned about or engaged with since starting Ignite. On the screen, you can see all the variety of possible lead sources you might have in your database. So in your database, do you all have understand how we tag things in your database under command?
Yes.
Okay. One question was asked, when do you do newsletters and market reports? Have you done in other languages than in English? Yes, going back to answer that question, yes, you should do those market reports when there's a shift in the market. You should do you can do them monthly. Those newsletters you can do as you see fit. Normally in a month, normally monthly, like right now in the National Capital Region, I'm starting to send them out every 2 weeks because we have a shutdown right now in the NCR. So, well, it's actually worldwide, but in the United States, but I'm sending out those newsletters because people need to know what is going on with the market. They need to know what things are happening. And people are responding to me saying, thank you, because why? Because they might have to sell their home. It might be the perfect time for them to downsize. They want to know, if I sell my house, is this a good time to do so? All you want to do, again, is to start the generation of lead communication and follow up. Any questions at this point? Okay, any ahas? Any ahas? Okay. Okay. So the next thing we're going to talk about is Hold on, sorry. Post-lead follow-up. Post-lead follow-up. Sorry. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Can hear you now.
Okay, got it. I don't know what happened. My back, ever since somebody said their MacBook is acting up, my MacBook has been acting up ever since they said that. But I'm not going to talk about it. Post-lead follow-up. On the slide, you'll see after you obtain permission to have the two-way conversation, the lead then becomes a contact in your database. So lead capture, put them in your data. We discussed earlier, put them in your database immediately. In command, you will do this manually. This also means that you will move the lead from 19 to connect touch campaign to the 36 to convert. So you went from the 19 to talking to them to get them to talk to you. Now we're moving to the 36 to convert. You achieved the purpose of 19 to connect, which was to connect with the lead, open the door for a two-way conversation. Connecting with the lead does not necessarily mean they will do business with you or that your relationship is as strong as it could be. That is why you continue into another touch campaign. Whether it's a lead or contact in your database, every person should be on a touch campaign. I'm going to say that one more time. Every person in your database and your database, whatever you want to call, should be on a touch campaign. Every person should be on a touch campaign. This is how you'll gain and keep mind share while continuing to do all the jobs of a real estate agent. Everyone in your database should be on a touch campaign. So if we look at the chart that you see here, lead capture, prospecting, and marketing, they immediately go into your database. Leads form relationships. Contacting them strengthens existing relationships. So 1, 2, 3, your leads form relationships. Contacts strengthen existing relationships. Cultivate contacts for conversations. Interactive and needs-based offers. And you do this over and over again. New and repeat. Referrals. How do people feel? How did anyone tell me? How was it when you asked your first person in your database for a referral? How did that make you feel? Anyone?
Awkward.
Fantastic.
I felt
Okay. I'm
Like
sorry?
I was going to make my first sell, but didn't work.
Yeah, I
So-
was optimistic and excited.
Good deal. So I see empowered, fine. I saw nervous. I still don't like asking for referrals. So let's talk about that. Why you don't like asking for referrals? Who was that? That was Miss Sandy. I still don't like asking for referrals. Why is that? Come off of mute. Okay, maybe she can hear. I see awkward. Some Lakeisha says excited. Why was it exciting? Why was it exciting? Exciting. Hello? Are you on mute?
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Every time I try to unmute, there seems to be like a connection issue or a lag.
Okay.
So I am pretty new. I've only been doing this since April, and I'm noticing, well, especially with trainings like this, and I'm also in Bold, it's getting a lot better now that I'm learning to be a little more natural with the conversation. Whereas, before when you're just reading everything on paper, like let's say we were not having this type of training and we were just reading everything, maybe it'd be a little different and I would just have that pressure like, okay, well, who do you know that needs to buy or sell a house? And now I know it is a lot more than that. And, you have to realize like people don't want to be taken advantage of. And people want to know, like, okay, you are in my life not because you need something from me, but I'm going to, provide something to you because you are in my life. Like I feel better helping out my friends. It's one of those types of things. So I'm just very grateful for the opportunity to have these types of trainings because it's really helped me learn how to have a conversation. And in one of our trainings, someone said, well, what do you do when you haven't spoken to someone in 10 years? And someone else said, well, you don't feel bad about it because they haven't called you in 10 years either. So you just have to wait, and we mentioned this before, you just have to wait for them to bring it up. Or, you say like, I'm so sorry that I haven't been in touch. It seems like I'm always busy. I was just showing a house. I was just doing this. And then they're going to be like, wait, showing a house? Yeah. But, that doesn't matter. Anyways, how are you? And then they're going to go back to that and they're going to see like, okay, you didn't think it was a big deal. But
Absolutely.
like,
That's a great
little
point.
things of just being subtle, but that's something that I'm learning as of recently.
That's a great point. You're absolutely correct. You can't. You have to be able to open your mouth and have conversation and always come from a point of value. That's a great point. Thank you so much for that. So in this point we just talked about lead capture, your database, prospecting. You go from lead becomes a contact, from the 19 to connect to 36 to convert, and then we're going to talk about cement the relationship. What does that mean? When we talk, what does it really mean is that when you are now a high value touch that solidifies those relationships you have just established and opens the doors for future interactions. These are what we call high value touches. This is one. It could be a situation. This is when you're calling people just to talk to them, just to see how they're doing. One of the things we're talking about right now in Command Your Day, because of the government shutdown, we wasn't calling to ask about real estate. We were calling to check on people to see how they were doing. It's a high value touch that solidifies the relationship to say, hey, just to your point, Ms. Hughes, calling and providing value to them. That's when people are like, okay, he's just not an agent. He doesn't care just about me buying a house. You can be on Facebook or Instagram and see somebody having something going on. Hey, their pipes or something just bust. Hey, you can reach out to them and say, hey, I have this plumber. In Keller Williams, we have preferred vendors. Hey, these are preferred vendors that have been vetted. Hey, this person is a preferred vendor for Keller Williams preferred property. Why don't you reach out to him? He's been vetted by a market center. Reach out to him and see, can he help you? Those are high value touches that you can actually use. People will be more prone to talk to you, and it's more than just selling something in that sense. How does that sound to you? So we're gonna go to this next slide. We've been going for a minute.
Devon, I have my hand up before you move on.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
No problem. So I wanted to follow up on about your comment that we should have everybody in our database in command on a follow-up program, a drip on a campaign.
Yes, sir.
And I was wondering if you could talk about, because I too, like a lot of people on the call, am reluctant often to ask people for referrals or to, engage people. I get nervous about it as well. But one of the things I wondered if you could talk about with the drip campaigns is the what do we do with the enormous amount of rejection when people unsubscribe from our drip campaigns? We put people on the drip campaigns and then they unsubscribe or they reply back and say, stop sending me stuff from this 19 touch drip campaign. How do we, what can you share with us on how we overcome that? And what do we do with that lead that we just worked so hard to put in our database, who now has unsubscribed from our 19 touch drip campaign?
That's a great question, Anthony. And there's a couple of ways I'm gonna answer that, and I'm gonna open it up to everyone as well. Well, first I will tell you this. If a person asks you to stop contacting them, the first thing you need to always remember TCPA. We do not, if a person tell you to take us off a do not contact list, you do that. Why? Because we went through a huge settlement, as most of you are aware. And Gary Keller spent a substantial amount of money to get us out of a lot of that trouble. So when a person tells you to stop communicating with them and they unsubscribe, you can, in command, once you put them in archives, I leave them. That's my personal thought. But there's other people on this call that's been in real estate just as long as I have. What do you do when a person tell you don't call me no more? I open it up to everyone. Anyone.
Send them a postcard. They cannot unsubscribe from the mail.
Yes.
So that's not illegal. You just keep sending them a postcard. Merry Christmas, happy birthday. You know, I don't know. That never happened to me. I'm sorry, but that's what I would do. I mean, is that person a friend of mine? Is that just a person that I met? If it's a person that I just met, maybe that's it. I just leave her alone. But send them a postcard.
Well, that's a that could be an option, but I look at it, I lean towards the point of caution. And my understanding of what I understand, and I absolutely could be wrong, but once a person tells me to stop communicating with them, that is it. It is easy for me to continue to look for additional business elsewhere than to harp on this one person and my broker get a phone call.
Yeah.
That's just
yeah, I agree with you. My thing is, if somebody doesn't want you to contact them and they unsubscribe, number one, just relax. Just relax. You know, that's one person out of how many people out there?
Absolutely.
You know, that's one person out of how many people out there. Just move on and just relax. Because for that one person or that says to unsubscribe you, who knows what you're gonna meet down the line?
Exactly.
That's just the way I see it.
That's a great point. My recommendation to Anthony, from my limited understanding, is that once a person tells you don't call me no more, I take caution, and with that caution, I take them out my database, because at the end of the day, this is what I can say. They still have my information. I might not call them, but they call me. If they want to talk to me again, they have the right to call me, but I'm not gonna, I think I live to fight another day. That's just my opinion.
I got a question, Devon.
Yes.
My thing's not working for me to put my hand up. It keeps logging me out. But I get, like, if they unsubscribe from or requesting to unsubscribe from the mail, but they haven't said don't call me or door knock, because generally people, you may have caught somebody at like the wrong time, but if you were able to get like a face-to-face with them, if you door knock, like, is that, I'm kind of, I didn't want to just like shut down a complete avenue, but I see Pat's on, so maybe she could also shed some light on what's expected out of us.
That's a great point. Miss Pat?
This came up earlier in one of the earlier sessions, and what that facilitator said, and I agree, is the fact that if you have somebody set up on a touch campaign and they unsubscribe and you have their number or you have their address, yeah, you'll want to follow up. You want to, there's a thing that we say often within Keller Williams, it's stay in curiosity and out of judgment. Because like you were saying, Dakara, you could have just caught them on a bad day. They may have gotten like 50 unsolicited emails that particular day or something. So if you have another means to reach them, you just want to call and find out. Now, if they tell you, Devon, what I meant is when I unsubscribed, I meant don't email me, don't call me, don't text me, don't come by my house. Then you're done. But you got to have some full closure. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, because I would still be hungry enough for like and I guess I come from sales background too, where you just catch people at the wrong day, but people are generally nicer if you're able to catch them in person and you approach it with like just out of curiosity, like.
But when they say that final no, then it's no.
Yeah, that final no, I'm letting it go. But you got to give me. Coach says don't stop calling or reaching out until they give you the final no.
I agree.
And again, that's Miss Pat. And for those who don't know, Miss Pat is the broker and CEO of Keller Williams Preferred Property. So if she say do that, that's what I'm going to do. So any other, Anthony, did we answer your question for you, sir?
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate all the feedback. And what I received was if someone unsubscribes from my email campaign, I should then put them on a text campaign. And then when they unsubscribe from the text campaign, I should be calling them and be curious about why they don't want to receive communications from me when I'm looking to be of service to them. And if they just say, hey, I just don't want it. And then it's at that point that it's fine. So thank you all for your feedback.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so our next slide here is training gets better with the feedback. Give us yours. So this is a QR code. So give a shameless plug here. This is a QR code where we need to do an evaluation on from what I've done yet this far. It goes to kwueval.com. The QR code is there. I'm not a KW University trainer as of yet. So I'm in the aspiration of doing so. So I ask that you all go to this QR code. My name is Devon Everest. This is the courses outline. Take a few minutes right here and do the evaluation and give us some feedback. I promise you, I'm not going to see it and I'm not going to talk about you and I'm not going to come knock on your door and try to figure out why you gave me a bad rating here, but like the Cara said, I need closure. I'm not going to do that to you, but I ask that you please do the QR code. Once you do the QR code, we're going to take about a 5-minute break, and then we're going to continue to finish the last leg of this class. So we're going to take 5. I ask that you do the eval right now, and in 5 minutes I'll start back, and we'll finish the last portion of the class. Any questions? Thank you.
What region?
What's
your region?
We're Maryland.
Maryland. Okay.
Devon, I don't see your name in the drop down.
Yes, it's not in the drop down. You're gonna have to. It's not in the drop down. You're gonna have to type my name in.
Just put Maryland and DC. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Event type.
The ability to type his name in is at the very bottom of the list of the instructors. It says instructor's name is not in menu or whatever it is, and then you just type his name in.
Thank you for that.
Can I say something else? Probably the last thing I would like to say to support this person that was concerned about the client that unsubscribed from the mailing and all this. My best friend and business partner unsubscribed from the emails, even though he was told that it's very important that he should not unsubscribe from the emails because those come directly from Rain, from the MLS. But the way I look at it is, you are the one that has the solution. They have a problem. So don't worry about one
Yeah.
person.
What
You're
about
the
it?
professional. You are the one that has the knowledge. You're the one that knows exactly what to do and when to do everything and how to do it best. So don't worry about one person.
Don't.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I never have.
Never had.
And in the last year, which I double my sales, I told every person that I have come in contact, I would love to help you,
Happy.
but I'm gonna be right by your side. I'm not gonna be chasing you. I don't have to beg you or call you. If you have no interest, just let me know. Nothing
It's
gets lost.
okay.
Yes.
Nothing was
Yes.
lost.
Yeah.
Gotta have that attitude. Don't chase.
That attitude brings you to the next level up.
Yeah.
Believe
Don't
me.
chase. Yeah.
That's I went double my sales this year.
I always read body language. I always read body language when I talk to people because I pretty much visit the same place and people ask me, how's things going? And I would tell them. And sometimes I just read body language before, I even ask them a question as to whether or not they got a referral for me or whatever, because I know I already spoke to them before or whatever. So when I meet people and I spoke to them before, I always read body language as well. Hey, Devon, I don't see your name on here. I don't see your name.
You have to scroll all the way down on the instructor list and it
Oh,
says not on the list, and then you can type his name in.
okay. Yeah, though that's I'm still learning all of this and everything. And it's so much to take in that I really don't have no time to really just um stress myself out on how people view me on things, and because I'm learning so much. But I do get in front of people when I go out, and if I venture with people who I already met, I really do pay attention to body language. No. Okay.
Gene Wilder said it best. What people think about me is none of my business.
Right. I like that.
Mm-hmm. 5. I'm trying to get her help. I didn't know I was even on.
Sorry, but I just wanted to share this because I'm really new to this. I just got my license like 2 weeks ago. But I went to a networking event and they were just saying that when sometimes people say, "Oh, I just don't want to receive the email." And as you said, like people body language will tell. Or they're like, "Well, I don't really go through my email." Like I had two ladies that I just find as a client. And she's like, "Listen, I don't like emails. If you're gonna send me mail something in my mailbox, I will be ready. Like I like that the most." So that's what she said, instead of emails. And I feel like if the person is able to tell you like, "Hey, I don't want to subscribe to this, but you are more than welcome to send me a mail like information," as we were saying, if it's a holiday that we are sending like a postcard or something, they are more than welcome to take it, because they see all the Christmas things on the card, they put it on your fridge and people come by and see it. um but I definitely agree about um people saying no, and you don't have to try your best and get to the, I guess, good graces. You gotta let them go so you can move forward. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Gotta let them go.
I get uncomfortable when people aren't nice. And I read a book called The Four Agreements, and it really helped me take everything not personally. Because half the time it's because of what that person's going through right then.
Right.
So if you get a chance to read that book, read that book.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get right back started because we do have a time here. So we have about 15 more minutes to get everything done. So I wanted to go ahead and push forward. Thank you all for the evals and good, bad, or indifferent. I still love you. So we're going to keep pressing forward. The next thing we're going to talk about is the KW Cares. And you can see also there's a QR code for that as well. It gives you an opportunity to get involved. Together, we empower, support, and uplift our KW family during times of hardship due to sudden emergencies. You can see that's our mission. So there's an opportunity there if you can get that QR code as well. In the event, this is for the Keller Williams Cares, it's a 501c3 nonprofit. Emergency grants are there, up to 5,000. Life altering grants are up to 30,000. So make sure you get that QR code. There's always an opportunity to give. One thing I do like about Keller Williams is that we do come from a point of gratitude and giving. Our market center is amazing, in my opinion, because we're always doing something. we're always doing something uplifting, whether it's trick or treats, trunk or treats, or we're doing something that gives you an opportunity. So KW Cares, that's one QR code as well. And we talk about the KW Next Generation. That mission is to empower and equip the next generation of leaders and entrepreneurs with tools needed to remove limiting beliefs, take action, and live a big life. So there's information there as well. There's a QR code for that. So ahas, any ahas? We've gone for a substantial period of time now. Is there any ahas from what we've gone through so far? We're at the home stretch now, so let's talk. Any ahas? We're not going any further till I get an aha. Somebody better say something.
I was gonna say the aha moments for me is to hear everybody's feedback and stuff like that about, because as a person I'm pretty new to this. As I said, I just got my real estate license like 2 weeks ago. So I just like the fact that consistency literally solve a lot of issues about, reaching out to people. And I just love the fact that I could hear that from those who have been doing this for a long time. Because I'm like, oh, am I doing this? Is this the right thing? Because I'm doing this full time. My full-time job is like interior designing, and I'm like, okay, I'm putting a pause and, doing real estate. And it just makes me feel like, okay, if you constantly reach out to people, they're gonna hear you out, they're gonna make you the first or the second, you're gonna be the second thought in their mind, then you're gonna always reach out to you. Don't waste your time on people who doesn't wanna unsubscribe to the email. Then it's like you're fighting to to be their favorite or to favor them. Then you're wasting your time and energy on someone who doesn't want to progress. So I just love that.
Okay, and that's great, Paulina. Thank you for that. And one thing always to remember, don't be afraid to continue to grow. And what I mean by that is this. A no today could be a yes tomorrow. And when one door closes, another one will open. Don't ever get caught up to the point that, I think I learned quickly in this business really quick. Sometimes you find agents spending substantial amount of time on a lead that doesn't go anywhere. And they will spend a great deal of time trying to get this person, trying to convert the person over to a profitable state. But some people are just not there. And it may be necessary just to put them on a drip campaign, or if they take you off that drip campaign, it might come back. But don't waste, and to your point, don't waste a lot of time just going over and over on this one person. It could literally, you could be literally saying yes to them means you said no to someone else. So take that same energy to a new potential client. As we wrap up our learning session here and transition to our success system, let's do a quick review and capture. What's a lead follow-up? Anybody?
You ignore people too.
I do?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Who would I ignore? Go back. I'm sorry. What did I miss?
I want to ask you a question.
Sorry, I am so sorry. Go
Okay,
with
I wanted to ask you, you know, if I have potential buyers, people who want to buy property, I was debating because I don't know, you know, they're not particularly ready right now. You know, they called me and I asked them questions and everything. And they're not particularly like ready to go out the door to buy houses. But my question is, at what point do I offer my command app to them? I mean, do I even give them my, you know, open my command, send them my command app, or do I just wait until they actually ready, you know, like sign that contract with me before I open up the command app for the client? At what point do I do that? Do I do that now, or do I just wait?
Absolutely. I would share that app. I would send that app to them immediately. I would give them that app. And this is the reason why. That also, if they say they're not ready, you sending that app does a couple of things for you. That app, they can look at that app at 2:00 in the morning instead of Facebook or Instagram. That app, they can look at it at any time. So that could actually help foster you to help that person get ready, because guess what they can see? They can see a house that that they might really, really like or want to see more of or want to actually see it. And now that can push that timeline up closer. And the good thing about it, you can also see what they're looking at. So you can always follow up with them and say, how did you like that house? And go from there. So you absolutely want to send that app to them early. And that way, that's a marketing strategy for you. And that also gives them an opportunity to help them foster their opportunity to move forward.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
And I had one other question, Ms. Haywood.
Oh, I was just typing it in the chat. Good afternoon. Someone had mentioned the word pop by earlier, so that kind of it made me think of the whole pop by situation. So I feel like that's something that I would be completely uncomfortable doing. Pop buys. One, for me, I don't like nobody just popping over my house unannounced. So for me to do that to someone else, I don't know how I would feel about that. So what is some tips, some feedback? How do you navigate that? Like
I have to be honest. I can let is anyone else got an opinion on this? Because I don't do pop-ups like that either.
Yeah, if you're not comfortable doing it, then don't do it.
Yeah, if you're not comfortable with it, don't. I wouldn't do it. But I don't. I have never done it. But I know there's agents in our market center for sale by owners and expireds. They have no problem getting some marketing reporting or reporting out and taking it and dropping it off at the house. I don't do that. So you have to find what's comfortable to you. Especially if you don't feel comfortable doing it, I'm not going to just advise you to do that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. I don't know if that was
Yes,
like a big thing to do.
Yeah, others could have a different opinion, but it's something I don't do. I don't just pop up at people's houses either.
Okay. Thank you.
So let's go back to what is the lead follow-up? Anybody? I'm not going no further until somebody answers the question. What is the lead follow-up?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Sorry, I was trying to unmute this whole time. Basically just talking to everyone you know, right?
Absolutely. Follow up is after you get a lead, and that's a great answer. After you get a lead, following up and making contact and touching bases with your leads. Following up with them, touching bases with your leads, going going to the fact, don't just get the lead, put it in your database and forget it. Follow up, call, one of the 19 steps. Great question.
Even what we were talking about before as you know, what some people would think as like a cold lead. Can't hurt.
Can't hurt. And one question is, how do we lead follow up? What's one way to follow up? What's one way we can do it out of the 19? What's one way you're gonna do a follow up?
Text message or a call, email.
Text messages. Well, you can do text messages. You can do 30 text messages in no time. You can always do the follow ups, and that's a great answer. And the post
Try to hit them up the day before their birthday. That way, you know, you're the first one to get them.
That's
it
a
shows
great
that you remembered.
Yes, that way you know. That's a great point. One question for you. What do you think is your call to action from today's lesson? What is your call to action? What are you going to do today that you wasn't doing yesterday?
I'm going to be a better friend.
I'm going to start a newsletter.
Great. ChatGPT. Someone said time block. That's a great idea as well. I mean, that's a great thing to do as well. Newsletter. Continue filling my contact time block. I see that. Any other things?
I've realized being a realtor is like a good excuse to kind of rekindle old friendships because, you know, when you have a regular job, which I still do, I'm dual careered, you know, it's so easy to say, I've been busy, work is so stressful, blah, blah, blah. So now you can say, listen, I'm like, for me, I'm telling people I'm planning my exit strategy. Like I'm working less at my regular job and more at this job. And this job gives me more flexibility so I can hang out with my friends and talk to my friends. And so that way I tell them, like, listen, I was very busy and I couldn't talk to you, but I can now.
Great,
and then
yeah.
you can say it's because I'm a realtor, not because I want your business, but because now I have a business where I'm not losing my mind and, you know, like I have no free time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And part of doing the follow up and things like that, I think time block is a huge thing. When I say time block, if you plan it, if it's on your calendar, you more than likely going to do it. If it's not on your calendar, there's a great chance that you're not going to do it. Do you agree? Yes and yes. Always find time, build your calendar out. One recommendation: build your calendar on Sunday for the entire week. Set that time to build your follow up, build your lead gen, build all those things in your calendar. You're more prone to do it, and try to stay consistent with the time. It would definitely help you a great deal. So mindset, meaning staying on top of people's mind. If you're not one or two, you're not going to get the business. Do we all agree with that? Okay, so ahas to achievement. How's your question for you? How has your thinking changed? What ideas or mindsets were new? Any thoughts on that? How has your thinking changed? Anyone?
My thinking has changed in the sense of instead of looking at it as from a salesperson's point of view, looking at it as I am making friends. Because that's essentially what you're doing. You may not be their bestie or anything, but you're making a friendship with someone because you have to build rapport with them, and building rapport means you have to be invested in their life in some way, whether it's knowing their birthday, their favorite sports team, whether or not they have kids, whether or not they have dogs. Like, you are making a connection with someone, and in making that connection, you are being, you know, first in their mind when someone needs something. And that is, I think, something that we've gotten away from with social media and stuff like that. We don't make those deliberate connections anymore. So that's my aha moment, is that getting back to that, you have more people to discuss real estate with. And the more you're discussing real estate, the more you're putting yourself out there to, you know, make some serious moves and make some money.
Absolutely. That's a great point. One of our operating Mr. Emmerich says a lot, and I'm not quoting it exactly. He says relationships will take you farther than money. I think that's exactly how he says it, but relationships. And I think we're in a relationship business. Is a contact sport.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
definitely have to build relationships. And I think when you build relationships, that is your business, as Ms. Pat has said as well. Okay, so we're going to continue. What do you feel differently about, and what was meaningful to you today? Anyone else? We heard from Ms. Brooke. Is there any other thoughts?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello. Like the young lady just said, we're building relationships now, and that's all. Instead of looking at, and I have my license for a couple of years now, right? I was out of the office about 9 months. I had a little situation, but I'm just coming back in the last couple of weeks. So, but like you said, building relationships, and the thing with this and the class that I just attended this past week in the office also, it making me understand that you're not just out to make a sale, but you, like you said, we're providing a service. And I know people think like, oh, real estate guy, real estate agents, no, they just come, they sign a few papers and they make all this money. But really, if it wasn't for us, if the real estate agent doesn't come into play, most people are not just gonna go out and purchase a house or know how to go about purchase the house. Even with most of us don't do our own taxes, right? And you go to a tax preparer to do that. A real estate purchase of the house is a much larger event. So you need someone to walk you through this, and that's what we have to understand, that okay, we are providing a more than worthwhile service. And
absolutely.
And I ain't gonna lie, at first when I started doing them, I was thinking like, okay, I'm going out, and they'll look at me like I'm begging for their service so I can go make all this money just by selling the house. But now I'm beginning to understand, hey, wait a minute, no, I'm providing a service, and you need to understand that my time and effort is valuable, or like the other gentleman said earlier, if not, go to someone else.
Yeah. I personally feel, I didn't know that I used to feel like I was a people person until I got into real estate, and I realized that I'm more shy than what I thought I was. I'm like, oh, you shy. But so I find out that, now that I'm trying to start my business and everything, I have to be more deliberate in when I'm approaching people, because now I realize I'm normally not a shy person, but now that I'm in this, I'm pretty shy, you know. So trying to, still get that courage up to talk to people and figuring out what do I need to say, because now you're reaching out to people that you don't know. Now you're reaching out to people that you normally probably wouldn't even say anything to, but you're trying to, be curious and actually be interested in people. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. So we're gonna keep, because we are a little pressed for time here. Couple of things. How will your behaviors be different going forward? What actions will you take? I think it's fair to say that we all will start doing the work. And it's important that we have to start doing that. Our behavior has to change. We have to follow up. We have to be more intentional, like you just said, ma'am. You have to be more intentional with more focus. Doing the work actually turns results. The texting, it does work. Calling people, it does work. How open houses, it does work. So the next thing is, what tools, models, and systems will we use? How will that make you accountable? Some of the tools that we always can use is smart plans. I know that the tech folks are talking about that in Ignite. Your smart plans, I don't think people understand the value of a smart plan. If you are new, you want to do the Marty Miller, if you have, I'm sure you've heard of it, but make sure you spend the time doing the Marty Miller, learning smart plans. That can have it that you're touching out to your database without actually having to talk to them every day. but it's making those contacts, those touches that you need until you can have two-way conversations and put them from a position of you're going to probable business. So make sure you're looking at your smart plans and using those tools. One of the things is a success system. We talked about this when of course, we're not going to do this now, but the success system does work. The 10, 5, and 1 is coming on your screen now. The daily success system. Spend the time doing this. 10 conversations with your sphere of influence, people you know and who know you. 10 contacts, add it to your database. Name, phone, address, and more. More is birthdays. More is what football team they like. More is what soccer team they like. More what college basketball team they like. Those are things that you put in that database. That way, when you're talking to them, you're talking from a point of knowing them. Having those conversations. The 10 handwritten notes. Express gratitude and let people know you're in a real estate and appreciate referrals. Those handwritten notes do still go a long way. Utilize the 10-5-1 model for social media. Engagement, always liking, responding, and DM. 10 likes, 5 responses, and 1 private DM. Those things work. You should try to do this every day. Is there any questions at this point so far? So we talked about the daily success plan. Again, I wanted to make sure we go through and we talk about the warning, do not call list and Telephone Consumer Protection Act. We want to make sure, again, that we are not reaching out to anyone that has already raised their hand and say, do not call me, because we do not want to put yourselves in a situation where you actually can be fined and your brokerage is having to have Miss Patty's having a nice conversation with us now, but if she gets those kind of notifications, those conversations are not as nice. So you want to make sure that you do not call, make sure you do not call the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, TCPA. Make sure you honor, respect it, and honor those people who do not want you calling or texting them. One thing, I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in a relationship with me. Make it giving contribution, giving something to people, not taking. If we have that mindset, people are more prone to work with you, more prone to refer business to you. But if you're always coming with your hands out, people are not going to always think about anything in yourself as a human being. You always want to give from a point of contribution, giving something back, doing something for the better good of someone else. Those are things will help you build your business. Being a good person in a nutshell. Okay. So as we're going to conclude this evening, any final ahas? Any final ahas? I know it's been a long night. Somebody got to say something. Somebody say something.
Okay. Again, I think just hearing other people say what they have done and experienced kind of make it easier for you to go out and, I want to use the word, take a chance, but put forth some effort. Yes.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. Any other ahas?
It's always coming from the point of giving, of contributing rather than taking. Basically, give rather than take. And by you giving, that will come back in return.
Absolutely. I sincerely appreciate that.
Hi,
So,
this is Kim Johnson from Chicago. I just want to say this was a great class, and I appreciate your encouragement around smart plans.
absolutely. Thank you. Anyone else?
Oh, Devon, I'm sorry. What was this? You mentioned about a smart plan earlier that's somewhat like a set it and forget it. Like I think it goes automatic or something like that to the clients. What was the name of that one?
There's multiple, the biweekly, the monthly. You can almost set every smart plan out. Don't quote me, but I think almost every smart plan you can set and put it that it never really expires.
Okay,
When you
thanks.
look at monthly and you look at the bi-weekly, you can set those that they will go continuously and they will pull the data and they'll just send them out.
Okay,
I
thank
still have those smart plans from when I started at Keller Williams. Those individuals are still getting those smart plans, and I've never changed anything.
So
Great.
Devon, are those smart plans, are they text messages or emails?
Great question. It's text message. I mean, you can set it up for text message. You can set it up for emails. You can set up the smart plan so that it'll prompt you to call in your task in command. It'll set it up that you can set it up that they will tell you, it will tell you to call this person today. It'll tell you those things. So spend the time in the smart plans and do the Marty Miller. I think it's 9.0. I saw it in the chat. Those smart plans will help you that you can set up that all your people are getting those touches that we talk about until when they're ready to do a conversion. So you can set it up as frequently as you want. Like when I have people come from open houses, there's open house smart plans in there. That's a perfect way to do follow up. I set them up soon as I get back to on that Monday. I set them on a smart plan for that particular house, and I set them up that it's going to touch bases with them weekly. It's going to send them a text. You can send them an email, and it prompts me to call them. So those smart plans do amazing work for follow up.
Right, thank you.
Right. Any other questions or comments? Ahas.
I just want to say I like the idea of doing the touch with the open house immediately as soon as the people leave. Send them a text or set them up on the smart plan to let them know, thank you for coming to my open house as soon as they're leaving, so that they'll get something from you and they'll know that you're reaching out from them and that you're acknowledging them for stopping by at that time.
Absolutely. Thank you. Well, folks, it has been my pleasure and honor to be able to present to you tonight. I hope I didn't bore you too much. I am looking forward to doing future classes with you all. And I will simply say this: you have to do the work. There's no shortcuts to this. There's no, it's just going to happen. I'm confident enough to say that every agent, every $1 million agent started where we are, started where you are, and they did one thing. They did the work. There's no shortcut to it. Follow up, the fortune is definitely in the follow up. You have to do the follow up. You can't get a lead. Don't have a database with 1,000 people in it and they're not on smart plans. Don't have a database with 1,500 people on it and you're not calling folks. You have to do the work. There's no shortcut to it. Ms. Skinner, you had something? Well, folks, it was my pleasure tonight, and I'm looking forward to the next class you will be having tomorrow. Yes. I'm sorry. We'll be preparing for the next follow-up with leads. That was what we just did. So you will have the next class tomorrow. I don't know the name of the instructor. So we look forward to I look forward to seeing you all tomorroall.
Thank you so much.
Great, thanks,
Good
Devon.
night.
All right.
Thank you. Everyone.
All right. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, good night.
Good night.
Thank you.